Hey everyone, we're here with Shane from High Reaper. If you don't know them, you're fucking missing out. They've got a new album coming out, Renewed by Death. Shane, first, thank you. I greatly appreciate you taking time out to come chat with me. Second, Renewed by Death, the title track. Holy fuck, does it grab you and go, dude?
Okay, good. Well, I mean, that was the intention, but you know, you can never tell when when you're part of
Yeah,
me, you know. So
yeah.
thank you. That was the intention.
Hell yeah. Well, I think most artists they make music they want to play, they want to listen to, because there's something missing, somewhere
Mhm.
else. And I can only imagine that from that side of it when someone's like, "Oh my God, that is
Yeah,
such a good track." You're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh,
It makes you feel good. Yeah,
yeah."
definitely.
Yeah, I
Oh,
really like the guitar attacks throughout it. Like I've probably listened to it 4 or 5 times in the last hour just 'cause I'm just like,
oh,
"Holy
great. Thank you.
shit."
Well, oh God. I'm first of all, I'm really bad at answering questions short. I can't. Even though there wasn't a question, I want to respond to your statement just to give you a little bit of insight. So, after COVID or after our last European tour, our one guitar player quit, and then I was still playing bass, and I was like, oh man, and we did the EP and shit where I was still playing bass, but I was playing guitar a little bit. But we had been so like we started writing, but we weren't like really writing for a new record. And I actually just found a video on my phone. Uh, so before we started writing for this record in particular, we were just writing here and there, and we had written this song. Um, uh, at the time, it was just Pat, our other guitar player, and our drummer Justin, who I'll refer to as Devil because that's what I've always called him
All right.
since I met him, which is like 30 years ago. I like almost 30 years ago. No, it is 30 years ago, in fact. Anyway, uh, so I just, we were just fucking around writing stuff. And then when we got together to write for the record, because we built a new studio and stuff. Uh, so when we got in the studio, started writing, that was like, I think that was, I don't even know if that actually wasn't I gotta think what was the first song. It wasn't even the first song we ended up doing, but we were like, oh shit, we have this one left over from when we were just kind of like writing. And, like I had obviously been listening to like Pantera at the time and stuff. I was like, man, I was like, it's funny. I'll randomly revisit records from, you know, 30 years ago or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
And I'll just be like, like I was listening to Vulgar Display of Power for about, 2 months or something. So obviously it shows in that song. And I like laughed after we wrote it. I was like, oh good Lord. But yeah, it was not even when we wrote it. So we had it written, and the way we write is we in general, like let's say we we get together and we write the songs, we write music, and then Zach will kind of scratch vocals in at home, and then we come in the studio, and then we cut the vocals. So we thought it was good, and then he had the vocal. Well, with musically, we're like, okay, we got the song down, right? And I also don't do leads or anything until the end. So we got the song there, and then Zach did the vocal. I was like, okay, okay, this is real good. So I was doing the leads for it and stuff, and I just gotten this when we made the record. I just gotten this 75, this black Les Paul. I do all my solos with this Ibanez I have from that I got back in 1991 or something. But I'd gotten this Les Paul 75 custom, and I was like, I started doing harmony stuff with it, and I also have this 83 Les Paul. So in the middle of the song, I'd kind of like after the first chorus, there's just a little harmony break. I was like with two guitars, and when I did that, I was like, fuck, man, okay. that really kind of changed the complexion of the song. Like
Yeah.
it was nothing that I had ever like. I was just the studio's next to my job. It's in the same building, as a matter of fact. And so I just when I so if I'm mixing a record or if I'm doing, I can just walk next door and when I have time, free time. So I was just fucking around and I was like, oh shit, this is cool. This really changes complexion. So then after we got the record kind of like done, it was another day. I was like not doing shit at work. So I came next door and I was like, I had just listened to I had just listened to Injustice for All because I never listened to that record. I really just I listened to a Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets. Kill 'Em All like a little bit, but I love Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets. I mean,
Yeah.
awesome. But one thing I love, if you include Injustice for All in that, each of those records has like a 30-second, 35-second, whatever intro to the record that
Yeah.
isn't like, what's it, Fight Fire with Fire? It has that. And then like on Master Puppets, it has Battery. And then on Injustice for All, it has that crazy fucking
Blackening with that buildup.
yeah, blackened intro that's so sick.
Yeah.
And I was like that Injustice for All. I saw that tour, and I definitely like the record still. I don't like it as much as those other, and I hate the way it sounds. Okay, so it bothers me when I listen to it. Okay, so I was like, fuck it. I haven't heard this record in like 20 years. I'm like, let me put this fucking record on just out of curiosity, because Devil and I were talking about it. I was like, yeah, let me put that on. And I was like, fuck, man, this intro was sick. And Zach had been like killing me to like put an intro to the record. And I was like, Zach, I don't know. It's like, and then I heard it and I was like, okay, I'll do a Blackened style one. And then I just came
Nailed
over
it.
here to the studio and I was like, all right, I'm just going to. So first I just wrote the rhythm part, the like guitar, not the solo part, not the harmony, but what's underneath that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just sat over here and just, it's funny, man. This is what's so fucked up is it's not even played well. That is my demo. I never even redid it because after hearing it, I was like, you know what? I just like it the way it is. It's fucked up. It's floppy. And I was like,
but it's not fucked up. I think that's like,
I was like, I don't care, man. And so I just did it. That's what made it onto the record. I was like, I'm going to recut this, and I never recut. I used my 75 Les Paul and my 83 Les Paul, doing each of the harmonies.
hell yeah. Well, I tell you, the way it opens, it like, I think it really sets people up for the whole fucking album because it like
That was the point.
it
Yeah, it's
immediately
like
grabs your attention, right?
yeah,
Just
this
like,
is what the record's gonna be. It's
yeah,
like this isn't even. I mean, I love our first two records, but I mean, it's not those records.
right.
So like it's just saying, hey, this is a real heavy metal record, and be prepared.
Yeah, it's good. It's good shit. Like, I dig, of course, I listen to a lot of different music, but like those albums, those Metallica albums specifically, like those are the albums we were all fucking introduced to, with and raised on, like
Yeah,
there
yeah,
was, there was a little bit of other heavy metal, like, of course Slayer and Anthrax, but like
oh, yeah,
those three albums right there,
yeah,
like
yeah,
that is a moment in time for probably everyone 40 plus,
yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah, I remember being in high school. It was my senior year when Injustice for All came out, and that was their first video. I remember being at my friend's house to watch the video for one because they're like,
yeah.
yo, man, what? And we're all sitting in this like fucking, like his dad's like like they were like he's like a rich kid or something. We're like in this like his like dad's a lawyer, and we're like I'm sitting in some like rich kid's like house, like we're like huddled around the TV, like, hey man, this is one, like, oh my god, it's like a huge event.
Yeah, I mean, it was like at that time, especially for music videos, that was what, 9 minutes 17 or 9 minutes
Yeah,
22.
crazy. Insane. It's insane. Yeah,
Just like that shit was unheard of to get
totally.
that level of popularity. So it
Oh
was
yeah,
like
it's
this
insane.
this glass ceiling just fucking exploded for all the rest of
So it's so hard to explain what it was like because, like without when before, I mean, before social media and all that stuff, like how important like that video was, like
Right.
to like our lives,
Yeah.
like fuck, man, like I remember also like when um um like the Seasons in the Abyss video came out when they were like in Egypt and shit. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like so sick, like I was like, oh fuck, this is fucking sick.
And
I mean, by then, but that was still, I think that was in like 91 or something, but that's
yeah,
cool.
but back then, you're right. There was no fucking social media. There was no
No.
internet. You were hanging out with your friends, watching Headbangers Ball, going
Oh, Headbangers Ball. Oh,
like I've got to find something super fucking cool, right? Like
no.
something cool's got to be on, and then you see that one video, and you're like,
Yeah,
"That's the one I'll be to watch this every week
could
so I can
not
catch
fucking,
that."
also for real, when Seasons that, which I mean, you can totally hear it all over this record, but when Seasons in the Abyss came out, I was like, I mean, like, it's like if you took the best part pieces of Rain and Blood and the best parts of South of Heaven, and then like Seasons of the Abyss came out, and I was like, this is insane, man.
Yeah.
This is insane. Like it's, I mean, like, it's it. I mean, it still is insane. Like from when I listen to it, I'm like, man. And just like same with Vulgar Display of Power. Like
Oh
when
yeah.
I mean, like when Cowboys from Hell come out, I mean, I don't like that record as much. It's a little cheesier. It's not. They had not actually, for me, like for me when I listen to or when I think of Pantera or something, it's just. I mean, the records after Vulgar Display are cool, and Cowboys from Hell is cool, but like for me, there when I listened to it, there was something different there. Like I had heard I mean, I listened to Cowboys from Hell and I liked it, but I didn't like, but like fucking Vulgar Display, I think that might open up like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, man, I mean, the guitar sound always were a little too much for my ear. And like, they weren't pleasing. Like the records don't sound that great to me in terms of like, those guitar sounds just really make my ears bleed.
Yeah. Well,
But
and you're right. Like Cowboys from Hell for them, I think it was they're coming out of that glam phase and they're
it was there's a little too much something in there that you know I don't like as much, you
yeah.
know. But for me, I mean, you know, fucking Vulgar Display Power is so sick, man.
Dude, it's like a perfect record from
Oh,
end to fucking
so
end.
sick. And it's funny when I was younger, like the side B songs and stuff, I listened to less, or I liked less, I should say. And now those are the ones I'm just like blast, blast, blast,
Yeah.
blast. Yeah, man. That's fucking, oh man. Yeah, it's real sick. Real
Hell
sick.
yeah. Yeah, dude, that was such a great time for heavy metal.
It was a real cool time. Uh, like because you had like the grunge thing starting, but you still had there's still real cool metal being made. I mean, like,
Yeah.
there was some really fucking cool shit. It's hard to explain to people like what it was like then, because it's hard to view if you're just listening to metal now or something, if you're 20 years old or 18 years or 15 and you're just discovering it. It's hard to understand it in terms of its context, like when you're historically,
Yeah.
because so many things after that have sounded like that. So it's hard to explain to someone that actually sounded new at some point,
Yeah.
but it really did. Like there was nothing sounded like that Pantera record yet. Like, and then it came out, and I was like, "Fuck, man, this shit is insane." And even like Seasons in the Abyss, the first two the Jane's Addiction records from that time. I mean, there's just nothing like if you go back to like Nothing Shocking and stuff. It was like '88 it came out. They're just like people didn't even know what to do with the band. Were they like a metal band? Were they like a goth band, or like like some
Right.
kind of, yeah, like was this like a hard version of The Cure or Love and Rockets or something? Like people didn't know what it was, and it's so hard to try and convince someone that was something then, because now other bands kind of took elements of that and became great bands and all that kind of stuff. And it's hard to say like, no way, man, like you don't understand. Like when Nothing Shocking came out, like it's the mountain song, and there's like these dread guys like making out in the video, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? you
Yeah.
know, it's crazy. But even their record, that live record before them, it's the same shit, like nothing sounded like that. There wasn't anything, they invented it. Like there wasn't anything like that. It's
No,
like,
and I think for bands, even then it was really hard to like create your own sound. And I say that only because like obviously every band we're talking about now has a very unique sound to that band, especially for those times,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but like think of how many bands like sounded the same at that time, that I mean shit, you get into a lot of the smaller bands now, and across the board like there's some fucking phenomenal bands, but across the board there's sometimes some real close similarities, and you're like,
No, no doubt.
I can't really tell which band it is, and then you have something like the vocalist or a lead from one of the guitar players, like, oh, okay, I know what band that is now,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. No doubt. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And of course, us growing up, like, how did we find music? Our friends told us about it, and we went to the record store and we were like, okay, what fucking album cover
Yeah.
is going to be badass that I'm going to
Oh
grab?
yeah. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. No doubt. Right on.
Then you get home and you're like, God, I hope it's good and not shit.
And no doubt. It's very true.
That was good stuff. So, who was the guitar player or the musician that got you like really ramped to start playing?
Wow. Well, for me, it would so I would say that as a guitar player, not to start playing. I'm trying to think who it would be like to start playing. Once I started playing, it would be Jeff Beck, but like, mm, I think honestly, it all carried over from being a young child in the '70s. It would have been Kiss. I mean, it's Kiss
Yeah.
100%. I mean, it's not that as a guitar player, that I'm personally in love with Ace Frehley. I mean, it's great. I mean, as I got to the age where I started playing guitar, it would be Jimmy Page more, because I was like a Led Zeppelin freak.
Oh yeah.
But then once I started getting into the guitar, later, like in my 20s, like really starting to be a music student. I mean, not a music student in the music school. I'm studying music with teachers and stuff. Um, well, that would be Jeff Beck. I mean, there's no, but I mean, when I was 19, I mean, Dave Navarro was like lit my world on fire, and I was like, I gotta know how to play like this guy. It was
Yeah.
important. There's all kinds of like, there are guys who, I mean, I love Dickie Betts, I love Dwayne Allman, I mean, Mick Taylor, I love Paul, but I also love like, I love Paul Gilbert. Uh, I don't play like that a lot, but I play like that a little bit. I
Yeah.
incorporate this stuff into my playing. But I mean, the very beginning, it would be Kiss, because I had older cousins, and being like five, and like when like Destroyer 5 or 6, or no, I'm sorry, when like Alive 2 came out, being like 5 or 6 or something. It was the end. It was it.
Something funny. I was never a real big like. I kept trying to get into Kiss, and I I was like they're good for what they are, but I never
Mhm.
really got into it. And then I saw them live a couple of years ago, and I was like, holy shit!
I mean, well, the funny thing is like, I was like 5 or something when I started listening to them.
Yeah,
They look like they're demons. And you hear the song, it's like kind of pretty, not all the way bubblegum, all of it, but it's like, okay, like this doesn't match. It's kind of like if you look at the cover for Bat Out of Hell from Meatloaf, it's like you're like, holy shit, what is this going to be? It's like, oh, it looks so good, and oh, it looks so right. Like, what the this does not match, So there's some of that going on. But I was fortunate enough through my cousins. I grew up around a whole bunch of my cousins, but this one particular family, their father, to whom I was not related, was a musician, and so they were all over music. He had gone to Berkeley and stuff. So I had the good fortune of they're all not considerably, but at that age, that's considerable. You know, they're probably like 6 years and up older than me, maybe 7 years and up older than me. One who loved Black Sabbath. You know, so this is all this my music. My mother, first of all, I grew up on AM radio, so you listen to everything was on AM radio from the Bee
Yeah.
Gees, Al Green to whatever, you know, to everything, you know. So and then my cousins, one loved Black Sabbath, the girl, she loved Priest and Maiden. Another of them, he loved Ted Nugent, Kiss, BOC. So I mean, I was just, and then the oldest one, he loved the Beatles. So I was just, you know, I was just totally, yeah, just that it was inescapable. And this is when I was very young. So you know that stays, it automatically it begins to inform your musical sensibility at a very young age, and that's something you can't regain, or you can't go back to alter.
Right.
So those things kind of are in you. Your sense of timekeeping, your all these kinds of things uh, start. It's what only happens when you're really young, you know. So the exposure to AM radio and then my cousins really kind of it informs like the way as a musician or as a guitar player, bass player, whatever, how it shapes you for later in life. You just you don't know that then, but it does, and it informs who you are as a musician when you're older, and it's not the same as if you discover them when you were old, because they can't those things like the James Jamerson bass lines and the you know all that stuff. Those are things that happen when you're a really young child that become part of your musical like sensibility.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those early years, they're so developmental, right? Um,
Everything. It's not, you know, it's everything. It's everything, you
yeah.
know, and those things stick with you. You can't teach someone, a, I mean, I don't want to say this, but you can't teach someone a different way to keep time when they're older. If you play them John Bonham tracks and Earl Palmer, and all and guys like this, Gadsden, Steve Gadd, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. Guys with like impeccable pockets, you know, uh, that will inform you as an adult. So you will naturally be able to play behind the beat and stuff. Of course, you know, none of this stuff happened on purpose. We were just listening to music when we were kids, you
Yeah.
know, cousins and the radio. You know, my mom, you know, the AM radio is invaluable. It was the most invaluable tool in terms of being a musician. I mean, no one knew it at the time, but it was incredible. It was an incredible time to grow up as a musician because of that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
Those, you know, those days, you know, late 70s, early 80s, you know, for me were like, I don't even know where my love of music came from, but I know that I my earliest memories are just loving music and what
yeah, man.
Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson,
Oh
you know,
yeah,
Smokey
yeah.
Robinson, whatever I could,
Oh yeah, no doubt. Of course, yeah.
you know,
Oh
find and grab.
yeah, man, no doubt. Yes, and always on vinyl. You know, you like
Yeah.
have. It's so funny. I mean, I don't, I really, I do not listen to vinyl. But I still love owning it. Like I love when we get our record from the label and like, you know, you see it for the first time physically. I'm like, man, this is fucking awesome. I like looking at them more than I like listening. I'd rather just, you know, just listen to the car, listen to the studio or whatever. But you know, there is a, maybe it's because part of it is from growing up with it, but also, you know, there's a something, there's a, it's like rewarding visually and like physical,
It's
like you,
tangible.
yeah, exactly. You pick up the record and you're like, oh fuck, man, yeah,
Yeah.
it's 12-inch thing, you know, and you're like, man, this is incredible. You know, artwork is so much cooler, you know, when you're not viewing it as a thumbnail.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just cooler. It's cooler to like look at it. You're like, oh fuck, yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
I'm guilty. I'm like, of course, same way, right? Grew up and it was like records, the first record I bought with my own money was Motley Crue, Girls, Girls, Girls. And I was like,
That's
I'm
great.
fuck, I'm fucking cool, But,
Hmm.
but now I don't know, sitting on thousands of records and like,
Fortunately, I'm not that way, but I used to be that way with musical instruments and stuff. And so, I mean, it is a sickness. It's
it,
hard to break. It's really hard to break.
well, I told my wife when we first met, so my house burned down 15, 18 years ago, something. I lost all my, like everything. And when I started dating my wife, I said, I love vinyl, but please do not ever buy me a record because if you do, it's going to start something that I just can't control. And she was like, okay, cool. Literally, like my next birthday, she buys me a vinyl. And I was like, oh no.
Oh, here we go.
Yep. Now she's like, why do you have six of this one? I'm like, well, this one I listened to. This is this variant. This has this. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, like you
Yeah.
did it. I told you not to.
Good God.
It's good shit. So how long has the band been together?
Well, I want to say that it was 2016. It just kind of started. Our original drummer, Pat, for a time, and I, and our original other guitar player had all been playing in a different band that was really the guitar player's band. Kind of, we were just playing in it. Well, I mean, it was a band, but I mean, it was his idea and
Yeah.
digital stuff. Um, and I had just stopped doing that. Pat had stopped before me. I was just kind of burnt out on it. And I was like, man, I think I want to make like a Sabbath kind of record. I mean, that's this for fun. So we wrote some songs, and mixed the record, and it just kind of got passed around to people and just kind of snowballed really fast. I think it was in 2016, but then we got a record deal, and then so the release. I want to say it was something like we got signed in 2016. I think I might be, or no, I'm saying we got signed in 2017. Maybe the record came out in 2018, and then our next record came out in 2019. But I'm actually, I can tell you 1 second. Um, uh, I never get these fucking dates right. So it said 2016. 2016 we formed. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, so that's how it happened. Yeah. And
It's
then
always
we only played a few shows. We got signed a year after our first show.
oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, we had only played 6 shows. We were really just intending on just making a record for fun and just playing a few shows. This was not like we
Well,
got it, but it just
right.
all snowballed in it, just
The best music comes from that, right? Because there's
yeah,
no
because you don't do it with any intention other than to do it. Just you're not. There's no pressure. There's no anything. You just
there's
go
no
make.
intention other than to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Just like let's do this.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just kind of happened that way.
Fuck yeah. And so I jammed out to the split with Hippie Death Cult earlier
Yeah,
today too.
yes.
And
That was what we were like transitioning from. We were just like starting to like write more like this, but there it's definitely a transition. It's not the same as this record, but you can
right.
see us trending in that direction.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I'm actually going to see those dudes Saturday.
Oh, it's awesome. Gosh, I was supposed to see him, and then I got stuck late at work. It was a total nightmare. They were just in town, and it was just life.
Ev-
Life really gets in the way of
It
life.
it does. And when you're a kid, you're like, oh, when I get older, I'm gonna do whatever I want and I'm good. And
Oh yeah,
then you get older and you're like, oh, there's this fucking show.
yeah,
Ugh,
yeah,
damn it. You
yeah.
know.
That's crazy.
Had to,
I go to bed so early. It doesn't matter. I go to bed like 8:30. I don't. I don't. I mean, I don't.
me too.
I swear. I get up before 6. I go to bed like 8:30. Like that's exciting.
Unless there's a show night, like
Well, I live like 30 minutes from Philly, so I have to really. I gotta really prepare myself to like. I gotta drive, and I and I gotta make sure that I can stay awake.
yeah.
And then I mean, even when we're playing a show, like I've been known to take a nap in the bus before, or not take a nap, but just lay there and like try and get my energy
Try
up.
and get a couple of Z's in or something. Yeah. I mean, I went to a show last night. I live in Louisville and I went to a
Oh,
show in Lexington, which is like an hour and a half away. And I get there and I'm thinking bands are going to start at 8. They'll be done by like 11. We're good. Bands didn't go on till 9:30 at fucking midnight. I'm like, I gotta go. I get up 5:30 in the morning. Like,
no, it's rough. Yes, it's crazy. I get up when I get up because that's when my body tells me to get up. So it's even worse. Like if I have to stay up late, I still get up early anyway. So you know,
yeah, then you're dragging
yeah,
ass all day.
yeah,
Like, God.
all day. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So what do you have any goals or like thresholds that you guys want to meet with the release of Renewed by Death?
No, I mean, other than to just support it the best we can. Hopefully, get a tour going. It's been more difficult since COVID. Just things. Pat bought a house. He lives far away. Like it's just just been more difficult. But those are intentions. We were fortunate enough to play Sonic Blast and just last month in Portugal, so that was good. Hopefully we'll get at least at the very least a Euro tour next year,
Yeah.
supporting the record.
But I was talking with Ron Holzner from, Trouble and Legions of
Oh yeah,
Doom, and
yeah.
he's like I was on vacation in Portugal and I'm standing on my, hotel balcony and I hear this loud ass fucking guitar at 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, what the hell is going on? It was like Matt Pike, sound checking. Like
That's
he's like,
amazing.
I'm miles away from it and I can fucking hear this guitar. Like, yeah, they're loud as fuck.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah. So hopefully we'll do that. Normal press stuff and shows. We have our record release show in Philly. We're doing it later because that's the only time it's coming out. Record comes out October 4th. Our show in Philly with Witching, a really great band, and Honey, another great band from Philly, that'll be on November 29th. So that'll be step one. So
Hell
uh,
yeah.
you know, talking to our booking agents, seeing what festivals we can get on next year in the U.S. and see how it goes.
Yeah. God, I
Yeah,
hope you guys can get on Louder Than Life. That would be fucking
where's
dope. It's in Louisville.
oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah,
we
so it's
we
getting
played
ready to
on
it's
tour before.
it's getting ready to come up. Uh let's see, this coming weekend is Bourbon and Beyond. The weekend after is Louder Than Life.
Oh, okay.
So
Hit me with hit me with it on Instagram so I don't forget what it is.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we did last year, 180,000 people attended.
Oh, do they have underground bands there?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Yep.
Gee,
Like there are 5 stages
oh, great.
or 6 stages. One is like inside a bar, so like they do like singer-songwriter shit in the
Okay.
bar. But then they've got 2 stages in the back that are like big bands, but not,
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
stadium size or whatever. And then they've got the 2 main stages, and then
Okay.
they've got an unsigned stage too that
Oh,
probably
sick.
has 12 or 14 bands on it through the day.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I love Louisville. Louisville's a cool place for sure. We
Yeah,
played there for a few years back,
do you remember where you played?
but it was new. It was new. It's big. Oh, fuck, I don't remember the name of it. I'm not gonna remember. It's like it's very cool and like a warehouse type thing. I wouldn't even remember the name if you told me. So
Okay.
so even if you said, oh yes, that, I'd be like, oh, should I? I don't
You
know.
said warehouse, but was it like a hangar? Like almost like
Yes,
an airport hangar?
maybe that sounds right. Yeah,
Expo 5.
maybe so. It's fucking gigantic and cool.
Yeah.
It's very yeah, real cool.
Yeah, I wish they still had shows there. They don't do shows there anymore.
For real?
Yeah.
Uh, that sucks.
That place was cool as fuck. The sound was kind of janky sometimes, but
I mean, I thought, yeah, it was fucking cool. Shit, that sucks. Shit.
yeah. Yeah, fuck, so many good shows there. Social Distortion, fucking.
Oh, sick.
Oh yeah, that was great. With Chuck Reagan opened the show, and I like doing his songwriter shit, and he comes out and he just sings a cappella, and everyone was talking, and he probably gets to like the second bar, and the crowd stops and stares at him. It was like, one, I was impressed that he did that at a, at like a more like punk rock show or whatever. But to control the crowd the way he did with that, I was
Sick.
fucking blown away.
Awesome. Fuck, that rocks.
Yeah. So what are some of the bands that you've seen live that have just blown your mind?
Okay, well, first of all, I want to confess, apart from playing shows, I've not seen that many bands in the last 15 years or so. But let's see. I saw a band called the Dotsons. Have you ever heard of them?
Mm-mm.
Uh, I saw them in Philly when they were touring on their first record. It was a very killer show. That was a very, very, very killer show. Um, I, actually, I played a festival in a different band in Spain with the Hives, and they were amazing. I never listened to them ever. I mean, I still don't really listen to them, but they
Right.
were in a live band. I was totally like really, really like totally blown away. I mean, saw Slayer with Lombardo. I mean, that was fucking awesome. Um, Trying to think of like, I know I'm gonna miss one that's like, well, I saw Jeff Beck.
Yeah.
I mean, it was important to me. I don't know if anyone listening cares about that, but I was very close to him, and I was very happy
I
about it.
think a lot of people care, like people who play instruments are like
I
Jeff Beck. Holy shit.
saw him. I was very, really close to the stage. I saw the Zombies and the Love. That was together on the same bill. That was one of my favorite concerts. That was definitely one of my favorite concerts. Um,
Right on.
with some other ones. Barry Manilow was my first concert, by the way. Barry
Oh,
Manilow. My mother took but I don't know, for some reason my mother and my aunt had an extra ticket. I was like 7 or something. That's my first concert in Philly. And then I saw Men at Work in like 82 or 83 in Philly with In Excess opening up. But then when I was like in high school, I got to see like I said, Metallica. I saw Boston when
oh
they
yeah.
united on the tour. I like smoked like this like shittiest weed. Like I don't even smoke weed anymore, but I mean I did when I was a kid, but I could just smoke like so much. It's like the shittiest weed, and like it was very awesome. It was awesome. I was high as shit. The show was awesome. Like it was very, very killer.
Yeah, you get the press weed, you have to pick out all the seeds and
Oh,
stems, and
so bad. Oh
it
yeah.
was it was terrible. I don't smoke weed either anymore, but I
Yeah,
remember those days.
so fucked up, man.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I smoked weed that people smoke now. It's like it's got to be like 200 times more powerful than anything
Listen,
in my whole life.
every once, like, I don't know, it's been a couple of years, but I was hanging out with a buddy of mine who smokes a lot of pot, and he's like, "Here, hit this." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever. We're moving a washer and dryer, like
Yeah, yeah.
that's fine." I took one hit and I was like,
I'll bet, man. I wouldn't even. I don't want to even think about it. It would be
"No." He's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really high." He's like, "Here, take another hit." And I'm like, "No way, dude.
so
Like,
fucking funny.
I'm fucking done."
Oh, good
So
God.
funny. My
Goodness.
first my first concert was Michael Jackson
Oh, sick. Very
on
sick.
on the Thriller tour.
Wow. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know if uh who was playing on that tour. I'm sure Sugarfoot was on the drums, but I don't know the rest of the band on that tour, on the Thriller tour. But damn, man, that must have been killer.
Yeah, I don't remember the show, but I remember like just being absolutely blown away with the entire experience. And I think that's really what kicked my like love for music into like overdrive. Like, holy shit, if I can have this experience all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it is it's an entirely different experience, seeing, well, when you experience the music live, you know, it's just a completely different thing. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes when Tame Impala first came around on their first record, I saw them live. They were terrible. Just all the songs were slow. I was like, man, this is stupid, man. And I saw them 2 more times, and they were terrible. The other 2 times, I was like, what the fuck is this? Because I was like, well, maybe. But then I realized they were doing it on purpose. They were playing all these songs slow, and I was like, man, this is crazy. But anyway, you know, but bands like the Hives or something, a band I wouldn't normally or don't listen to. You know, seeing them, I was like, holy fuck, man, these guys are like fucking awesome. You know, you like later, like when I became a musician is when I began to appreciate like like how well some bands performed live, you know. And you
Yeah.
think some bands are like terrible live, and you're like, man, this band was fucking awful. And other bands were really good. Um, and other bands are really good at sounding like the record. Then other bands don't sound like the record, but they were still really good. I can never do. I'm too crazy. Like I can never like. I always want us to sound like the record live because I always, when I saw bands, I always wanted them to sound like the record.
Yeah.
So like, I always try really hard to make it sound like the record because I don't, you know, I want someone to kind of, you know, say if they listen to the new record, I want them to hear it and be like, man, I want to fucking see this shit. And then I want them to come and see that fucking shit and have it be right, you know?
And you know, I think there are bands that absolutely should sound like the record, and then I think there are bands that should improvise a little bit and let it just be a little bit
But we're not
off.
Fish, you know, like
That right.
a jam band. Like you know, we're fucking heavy metal band. Like you come
Yeah.
to the show, you want to hear it sound like fucking heavy metal. Like I'm not out there fucking trying new guitar techniques.
Trying to yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm fucking playing, you know, guitar solo. Like, what do you mean? Like, but it really did. Like, you know, some things like you know Led Zeppelin, they couldn't sound like the record. There's so many guitar parts on all. You know, they have to do a stripped down arrangement live and stuff. And we, for the most part, don't really have to do that now with the harmonies and stuff. On a few things, we'll be doing stuff where there's no rhythm guitar playing because we're going to be doing harmonies in a few spots, like in that little section in Renew My Death, and also in Torn from Within. There's a little thing there, but for the most part, I you know, I'm not even saying it's a good thing, but I really always try to make it. I
Yeah.
really try really hard for us to like we rehearse. Our rehearsals are like not
Military.
they're not yeah they're not military, but they're it's not a party. You know,
Yeah.
it's like we're here to work. We're like bang 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 bang. You know, just this past Sunday because the way we write the record, like it'll be like you know we have our studio, so we'll be out in the tracking room and we'll be sitting there writing and they get a part. I'm like, and we record the whole time anyway, but you know, we'll just record the entire rehearsal because we have a studio. So, but once we start getting parts together, I'll just stop playing and Pat and Jimmy and Devil will be playing. I'll just be like, okay. And they're like, no, let's do it this many times. I was like, okay, we'll do this 4 times. We'll do this. And then they get, so I can hear it. And I'm like, all right, okay. Yeah. All right. This sounds good. And then, you know, we'll have a chat and then I'll stop the recording up. And so we mark it where we're making a demo and just be like, all right. And then, or like I'll start a new recording. I'll be like, all right, here, we're going to do this here. I'll put a marker and, you know, then I sit in the control room while they play it. And even for, and then so, uh, making a long story longer. So once we like do the record, you know, like I only played the guitar solos, you know, like, so even though we all wrote the record, like I didn't play these fucking songs. Like, I mean, I did play them to some degree, but not really. I mean, I'm producing and I'm doing my job. And then, so for example, when we were making the record, Pat came up, you know, bass and drums are done. Pat came up to cut guitar tracks and he got done all his guitar tracks. And I was like, you know what, Bones? Uh, I was like, just play my tracks. Just so they play my parts. And I was like, I didn't. I want things to be so tight that I'd rather. And he and I are both very tight doublers, uh, but I just said, well, because not all the tracks, it's not actually doubled. We do actually have some parts on there, but even so, I was just like, you played the one. I was like, just play this, and I'm just going to play the solos, and that's what I did. Just because that's what I think was best for the record. So anyway, so now the record's done. I have to learn all. I have to learn all the songs. So just this past Sunday, we're learning, and even with Jimmy's like, I mean, because we haven't played these songs live, and so we're like relearning them. But we played. Oh gosh, I don't even know what song it was, but we played it like, fucking. Oh, it was renewed by. Well, we played renewed by death like a shit ton of times, and then we played another one, which I don't remember the name of the song. I don't even know, but it doesn't matter. Just play them to death until they're
Yeah.
mistake free. And once they become mistake free, then we say, okay, now we can start rehearsing it. So, I mean, Zach wasn't even here. He had a cold, so which is actually better. So we just concentrated on getting the music right. There's no vocals right at the time, so we can just play it. I mean, we probably played Renewed by Death. I mean, I don't know, 15 times or something, just over and over and over and over and over to make sure, okay, got it. Because the thing is, it really is with rehearsal, like in order to perform something properly live, or not properly, but do it and move around it. You have to play it until you're not thinking about it anymore.
Yeah, what like that phrase is not practice until you get it right. It's play it until you can't get it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So it just becomes part of it. So you can like, be playing the verse and look out at your friend and laugh and then take a drink and that the chorus is, you're not thinking like 4 times, okay, 6 times, okay, you don't think of
Yeah.
you're thinking about it. And that's the thing. There's only one way to get there, and that is to play the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
And so in between rehearsals, we practice alone. I sit next door at work, and I have my guitar and I play stuff. And then when we come into rehearsal, we're rehearsing the song. We're not rehearse. I mean, right now rehearsals are for learning because but in under normal circumstances, the learning's done outside of rehearsal, and we come to rehearsal and we rehearse the songs.
Yeah.
And we rehearse them to death because it has to, or for in order to deliver your best live performance. I mean, at least that's one way to guarantee it.
Yeah. You're
There's always a chance you're going to do a good job, but you eliminate the chance from it
you're
by
absolutely right. And it's funny you say that. Like I was talking with Brian Fair from Shadows Fall, and he
Mhm.
said, back when they were like touring heavy, they never practiced.
Well, then that's a different thing. If you come off
Mm-mm.
tour, if you
No,
play,
you should still practice, right? Like they
no,
toured a
yes.
lot.
What I'm saying is when you come off tour, when you come off a 30-day tour, like, and then you don't practice for 3 weeks, and you have a gig coming up, and you're like, all right, let's rehearse. The rehearsal's like one time throw because it's crazy how much that sticks with you.
Yeah.
We still always rehearse no matter what, but like the rehearsals after tours, it's like, and that stuff will last months, man. You can be like pretty rusty in your brain, thinking you're pretty rusty. No rehearsal for a month, rolling the rehearsal. You play the set one time, you're like, man, that sounds pretty fucking good. You play it the second time, you're like, okay, that sounded exactly like tour, and that's it. It's
Yeah.
like getting to the point. It is this. It's also this way with playing guitar. Like when you practice, I do all kinds of crazy, stupid, very annoying practice things. Where like playing to a metronome, and you do this shit over and over and over and over again slowly. And it's the same thing. You do it so many times that it just you can't forget it almost.
Right.
So when you've toured on a song, that's been in the set, anytime you have to brush up on that song, it's like you play it once, you say, oh yeah, you play it the second time, it sounds just as good as it sounded the last time you played it on tour. It's fucking crazy how it works like that, but it really
Yeah,
does.
I don't think it works like that with every band though, because I like one of the things that one of the comments that Brian made is like that when they did their reunion in 21, he
Yeah,
said they practiced like madmen leaning up to it, and then they played the show and they get done with the show and they looked at each other and they were just like, oh, maybe we should have practiced before, because we're
yeah,
so much fucking tighter now,
yeah. Well, yes. I can dig that for
you know.
sure.
So
Yeah,
it's funny, but I like that you are, so dedicated to your craft that it's just like you said, right? We're not practicing to we're not rehearsing to get it right. We're rehearsing so we
yeah,
don't get it wrong,
yeah.
essentially.
Totally, yes. I mean, it's the only. I mean, for me, it's the only way to live as a musician.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're in a jam band. I mean, that's something else, though.
Even then you're practicing something all the time,
You are definitely practicing something.
you
Sure.
know?
No doubt about
Shit.
it. Yeah, for sure.
So what do you think about like the Las Vegas Sphere?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, really? Well, it is I don't know, it cost them $1 billion to create, and it's a sphere in the middle of Vegas, and they did the inside with TV monitors and shit. So
Okay.
so you go inside, and the way it was explained to me is, have you ever wore VR goggles?
Never.
Okay. I did
Like
once.
it's like a live VR goggle thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
I'm like,
What the
oh,
hell are you doing that for?
well, shit, they did bands play there. Of course, they've had like jam band shit. Um,
Oh, okay, okay.
but
Sounds insane.
oh yeah, who doesn't want to have a, really cool immersive experience?
I
Uh,
mean, something tells me the bands that you'll be uh have the opportunity to have the immersive experience with, that there would might not be ones that I would be
yeah.
interested.
Well, so far, not ones that I've really kicking it about.
If PLO was there, maybe I would do that. I
Hell,
would be to
I'd love
that.
to see like a black metal show inside the sphere. Like,
Yeah,
think
very,
of
very.
the graphics they would have.
Oh yeah, very sick.
The devil's walking out at you and shit. Like,
Hey,
ah,
that would be very sick. Yes.
that would be fun. So like in your years of touring, is there a tour story that really sticks out to you as like, man, that was really awesome, or that was like hilarious?
Well, I would say that on our first tour, and on Reaper's first tour, um, we are driving like somewhere in Germany. I don't fucking know. And we're headed to we are headed to Mannheim, and our fucking tire blew out in our van. I was driving. I was like, "Whoa." Anyway, I'll try and make this very long story very short.
You can
The
make a
guy,
short story long. I don't care.
the guys got picked up. I stayed with the band because I was driving. This is before Devil was in the band. This is our old drummer next. Um, so those guys get picked up and they get taken to the gig, which was I don't remember. It might have been a little more than an hour away or something at this point. So um, I am with the fucking van. I don't really speak German, a tiny bit, but nothing significant. So I get picked up by this German tow truck driver who screamed at me for about a half an hour in German, just screamed at me. It was insane. It was totally insane. We left the van. We left the van down. Actually, those guys didn't get taken to the gig. I think they may have got, or did we? I don't even remember if we ended up riding together to the gig. Maybe they did get taken to the gig. Anyway, this other guy came to pick me up from where we took the van, and he drove like a maniac to the gig. Okay. Now, we get there and the gig, they still say, no, play the gig, which we were like, all right, fuck it, we'll play the gig. Germany is really crazy. Germans are crazy. I say this in a nice way. Anyway, it was our first record, okay? We only had 40 minutes of music, 42 minutes of music. So a few, some people actually waited at the gig for us to play. I mean, it started like 2 hours late. I don't even know how late it was. We got them playing, and people came up to us and were like, you didn't play long enough. And so, they expect you to play 90 minutes there.
Oh, shit.
And we're like, we only have one record. What are we supposed to play? We have 42 minutes of music or something. They're like, we should have played covers too. I'm like, you think we're going to learn 45 minutes of covers to play in Germany? Like, we're like, okay, man. So this isn't. So that was in Mannheim. That was in 2018 or something. We just played Portugal this past month in August. We were playing Sonic Blast, and I saw this tall guy, and I was like, man, I know that guy. So then me and Pat were walking to the beach, and we walked by the guy. Pat goes, you know who that guy is? He's like, he's from Mannheim. I said, you gotta be kidding me. He's like, he walked up to me yesterday in Portugal and goes, High Reeper, yes, I remember you from Mannheim. You didn't play long enough. I swear, it's still, I mean, this is fucking 5 years ago or something. Guy's still mad we didn't play 90 minutes in Mannheim. I was like, it's amazing. Waved to us, said hi to us every single day in Portugal. I mean, but still made sure that he complained to Pat that we didn't play long enough. It's great.
That's hilarious. Now it's time to go back to Mannheim and do that 90-minute set.
90 set, man, kill me. I'm not playing a fucking 90-minute set anywhere.
Listen, I don't know how some of these guys do it, like Bruce Dickinson. Holy fuck, at 60, what is he, 62 now or something? Yeah. He's still running back and forth on the stage, and they do 2.5 hour set, 3 hour set.
I opened in another band I would play with sometimes. I opened with Guns N' Roses did like 10 club dates or something. So we opened for them in New York. This was back before the band was back together. So it was Axl and that whole, and I think they played like 3 hours. I slept downstairs I slept because all our gear was on stage. So we had to stay the whole gig. I was downstairs sleeping. I just came up for like November Rain and what's the song I like? Mr. Brownstone. And we'll go back downstairs and go to sleep. It's insane. I was thinking like, who the fuck, like 3 hours, man? You must be out of your fucking mind.
People eat it up though. Like,
no, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, like as a performer, I don't know how it doesn't, I mean, I don't care about the money or anything, but I just don't know how I could keep my focus that long. Like, oh man, this is gonna be my most badass version of Mr. Brownstone. Okay, this is gonna be my most badass November Rain. Okay, this is this, and you're 2 hours later, you're like, okay, I got an hour left. For me, I guess I could possibly play 90 minutes. I think that would probably, that's certainly more realistic than imagining myself playing 3 hours. But I mean, even at 90 minutes, like you're really pushing it, to like.
Well, and I think that partially comes back to the whole rehearsal thing, right? Like if you rehearse the 3 hour set, I'm sure at first it really, really sucks.
Man, I can only imagine what rehearsal for a tour like that would be.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking like 6 months of rehearsals.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like there's no fucking, months of rehearsals. Plus they got those big stages and all that fucking bullshit going on. I mean, there's got to, with all this stand here and all this, you're going to do this and that. And it's fucking.
Yeah. It's probably 4 or 5 months of just practicing all of the songs from start to finish. And then you've got
yeah, a couple months of this, that,
Yep.
dry.
You place here, here's your X.
Yeah,
You pee over here, don't puke here, that
yeah.
kind of shit. Like, but that's, some of those are my favorite shows, like um Foo Fighters. My family loves Foo
Uh,
Fighters, so we go see them, and they're a two and a
they
half,
play,
3 hour
yeah,
set.
they play, right. As a fan, I'm even, gosh, I think when I saw ELO a few years back, I think that they played like a reasonable amount. Like I want to say 90 minutes to 2 hours. And I thought that was good. They just
Yeah.
played. I mean, as a fan, I'm happy to hear the deep cuts, but I mean, as someone attending a concert, I don't think there's any way I could stomach a 3 hour show. I mean, I think Metallica, when I saw them on Injustice for All tour, I think it could be like, it was probably like 90 minutes to because those records were like 90 minutes or 70 minutes back then, the worst. That CD era of everyone filling up the CDs of 70 minutes of music. I mean, but anyway, yeah, I think they must have done it 2 hours or something. I think that's cool. That's cool to see.
Yeah.
Two,
Now their sets are
that's got
what
to be insane, right? I don't know.
yeah, it's like 2 to 3 hours. I'm thinking the last time I saw them, God, it was like I saw them headline Louder Than Life, and that was a 2 hour set, and festival sets are
Yeah,
shorter.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when I saw Slayer, I saw him a couple times when I saw him in a small club. I think they just did 90 minutes. They might have done 2 hours. I think they did more like 90 minutes. I mean, fuck, Rain and Blood's only like 28 minutes anyway,
Yeah.
which is good. I mean, yeah, I think they did maybe like 90 minutes. I have to ask Devil. We saw him. That was, gosh, it was forever ago in Philly. And then I saw him at like Ozfest or something.
Oh,
I mean, somehow I ended up at Ozfest twice for free. I mean, somebody's like, and yeah, so I saw Black Sabbath one time, and then I saw Black Sabbath again. But Rob Halford sang because Ozzy was sick that night. He was in Philly.
oh
It was
shit.
actually Jersey. Yeah, yeah, it's
That would have
crazy.
been cool to see.
Judas Priest was on that tour or that version. And
Yeah.
anyway, sick. So Rob Halford came out and sang. It's
Hell
crazy.
yeah.
One year was like, fuck, man. I got to be honest. I don't remember it. Black Sabbath headlined the one year, and it was the regular band. I'm not sure if maybe with Ozzy, with Rob Halford singing, it was still the regular band. Maybe it's still a Bill Ward. I know another time Slayer was playing on another one, and Phil had a band like Super Joint something or
Super
other.
joint ritual.
Yeah, I remember. I didn't. I mean, I watched. I didn't. I don't remember watching any of the bands other than Slayer and Black Sabbath. I mean, I
Yeah.
wasn't. I mean, I don't remember. Like, I didn't. I wasn't paying attention to any other. Fortunately, when Black Sabbath came on, the one time when Ozzy was because this is like an outdoor venue and it has seated area and then like general admission all over the grass.
Pavilion. Yeah.
But yeah, but when fucking Sabbath came on, that first time I saw him, I just busted down in the front and just got to see him up close. It was great. It's
Oh
fucking
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking yeah, it's really
I
great.
I saw Sabbath once, and I saw them on the End tour, and yeah, I'm super grateful that I got to see it because they were all like on point. Unfortunately, right, Bill Ward wasn't there.
Okay, was that Mike Borden? I don't know who was that.
It was
Borden? No, he
mm-mm.
he he did. I think maybe he was just playing with Ozzy. It was who was that guy? Not what's his name?
It was Tommy something.
Oh, it's Tommy Aldridge? No,
Maybe? No.
old guy.
No, no, no. No, it was
Oh,
a younger dude.
okay. Tommy Aldridge is amazing, but okay.
Uh yeah. Damn, I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. But anyway, they all sounded fucking great. Ozzy sounded better than he had ever sounded in all my years of seeing him. And I was just like, okay, like that bucket list band is like,
Yeah, that's what I thought when I got to see them that one time. I didn't even care when. I mean, I think I stayed for probably like three songs of Rob Halford singing because after three songs, novelty wore off for me, and I had already seen Sabbath, so I didn't give a fuck. I could say, "Hey, I saw Rob Halford sing," because I did see him sing, and I
Yeah.
just went. But of course, my cousins, they saw Sabbath like a zillion times in the '70s.
Lucky.
I know, man, it's fucking crazy. And concert tickets were like nothing.
I
It
know.
was 4 bands on a bill for like $10 and shit.
Shit, not even that. It was like 750 or something.
Fucking
Like
ridiculous,
you're
man.
like you can't even get a beer at a show for
You know, I
750
know.
now.
Crazy. It's
So
fucking crazy.
it's fucking
Man, those guys, my cousins, they had no money at all, but they still saw, I'm talking like they saw every fucking concert you could ever imagine. Them and another friend I have. He's just always he's like fucking always, it's gotta be like 66, 67. He's just he's seen every concert from Humble Pie to Thin Lizzy to you name it. I'm talking like every concert you could ever imagine. So between him and my cousins, I mean, they told me every story about every. And my first, not my first, but a guy I studied music with, who was guitar, but music mostly. He's an incredible guitar player, and he's a friend of mine now. But anyway, he saw Hendrix in Philly. He saw Hendrix. He saw Jeff Beck Group on their first tour with Rod Stewart. I mean, he saw like mind blowing concert. Yeah, Hendrix. And back then, the Spectrum in Philly had a revolving stage. He was like 14 or something, and he was there with his buddy. And he said that I don't know what song was during, but stop. They were up front, and they stopped. He said Hendrix stopped literally right in front of him. So like he was like right there next to Jimi Hendrix.
fuck.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool.
But think
cool.
about that, right? Because obviously that's how we're looking at that, but people are looking at us because we've done the same thing with people they'll never see.
Yes, that's true. I mean, yeah, but it's still fucking cool. I mean, it's fucking, man.
It's cool as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when he told me, I was like, "What, are you fucking kidding me, man?" Yeah, and then of course he saw Jeff Beck Group too, like which is, just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That Jeff, I don't know if you ever listened to it, but Jeff Beck Group record "Truth" with Rod Stewart singing on it.
I haven't.
I think came out in '69. It came out right after. No, came out right. Yeah, came out after Zeppelin one because they both did "You Shook Me" on it, and fucking Beck was pissed because him and Jimmy Page are boys. He was mad. Because they ended up both doing it. He didn't know that they were doing it, I don't think. And of course, John Paul Jones played on some songs on Truth. On Morning Dew, I believe he played on. Ronnie Wood was the bass player on it. Incredible bass player. I mean, he's a great guitar player, and he was great playing guitar with Faces afterwards with Rod Stewart and stuff. And of course, later with the Stones. But Ronnie Wood is a fantastic bass player, and that was just a really cracking band. That Truth is the name of the record. I'm telling you,
I'll go check it out.
It's one of the best rock and roll records of all time.
All right.
It is. Jeff Beck does a lot of crazy shit on it.
I'll have to go check it out for
Rod
sure.
Stewart it's top notch. It's a record, man.
So it's funny you look back at like a lot of those older records and you're like, really, like this dude, and this dude all played on that record, and you're like,
I know. They're all the community of musicians who were at the level of professional was so small.
Yeah.
Everybody had played with everyone else at some point. At one point. It's so insane. I used to have in high school, I had a book called like The History of Rock, and it had a little like diagram, and it's like a family tree almost. Like so, it was like, and he had Stevie Winwood here and Clapton and Ginger Baker and Mick Taylor and Rod Stewart and Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, John Paul, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah,
It will blow your mind like how small I mean, John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page were session musicians, played on 1,000 records. I think they've each done more than 1,000 sessions by the time they were in Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I mean, John Paul Jones, not just as a bass player, but as producer and arranger. He did a lot of arranging and stuff. He was choir master for his church when he was 14 years old.
I did not know that.
The guy is he is a mutant.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Shane,
Okay, man.
dude, thank you. I greatly appreciate
Sorry I
this.
talked much.
No, it's fucking great. Like I really enjoyed our conversation. I learned a lot of shit I didn't know. And I'm really looking forward to Renewed by Death coming out. One
October
thing,
4th.
yeah, October 4th. One thing, what physical copies are you all putting out?
Okay. Well, of course, CDs. I mean, but we have a surprise variant coming up. So we have an ultra limited, like it's called a side A, side B vinyl. Then we have just a colored vinyl, which I think might be like, I can't, the side A, side B, it's like orange and brown and blue or something. I can't remember exactly what it is. Then there's a solid color that I believe is like green fluorescent. And then we have a super limited, like extra super limited, that will be sold from our Bandcamp and from at shows only. That is a splatter for the band, and I believe it's like pink and purple or something. I can't remember. I have to be honest. I don't even fucking remember. But they should be arriving soon. But yeah, we'll have all that shit at our record release show.
Right on. Well, now I'm gonna have to keep an eye on the Bandcamp because as soon as it goes up for sale,
It's so sick. It's so sick. It's real cool. It's real cool.
I gotta buy that. So now you guys are gonna have to do the super fucking limited, like liquid filled.
I hope.
Like,
I
have you seen those?
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Insane. This shit's insane.
Like I don't even think about it. I was at a show a couple months ago and they had a sand filled record.
Insane.
Like and you it was red sand, so it looked like kind of blood when it was coming down. Oh, it was super fucking cool.
At all.
All right. Well, Shane, have
Thank
yourself
you.
a great night, man.
Yep, you too.
Thanks,
See ya.
brother. See ya.
Yep.